every chip gonna like turn on them and crap? He's gonna start like Order 66 on us?
All right, that's what we got to do, and we got to figure it out, and that's what we're here for. Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? We're getting ready to rock it out. Another one, the Bad Batch, episode 3, and I got sick of doing it by myself. We had to bring the one, only, the man himself, Fandom D. How you doing, brother?
Ah, shit. And DJ begins to buffer.
Really, right out of the oh, yeah, there it is. I see it.
Damn. Up. Got put in the I can't even say it. The chip that they put in these clones, you got to put in your Wi-Fi or something, bro. I don't know. But anywho, thanks for having me, DJ. You've been trying to drag me into Bad Batch since the first episode. I'm like, I don't know. And then this week, I started watching the first episode, and I'm like, okay, I gotta talk to DJ about this, and maybe pre-order some Funkos. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, it's gonna be a whole new band of Funko Pops that you gotta get. A whole new crew. What's up, Wissy out there? I see you, Jake Cruz. We got Iron Tron in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hopefully the buffering situation is working itself out. Don't need YouTube tweaking on us like this, but man, always right out of the gate. I even tried to start out all slow, not move too much, but yeah, I got to figure this thing out with YouTube, or it's got to figure something out with me. Maybe I just got to start paying for the pro, and maybe that'll do it.
It's only within the first 2 or 3 minutes of your intro, and then you're smooth.
Nice. Nice, nice. But like you said, we almost had to drag him in kicking and screaming, but sounds like he's happy he's here because what do you think so far about this whole thing called the Bad Batch?
I'm telling you, the last thing Star Wars related I saw was Rise of Why'd I Waste My Time. So I just been staying away from Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, let me try Star Wars once again. Could this bring me back in? And it did. It did. The Bad Batch alone was like a 5-man army. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I didn't know like where was it gonna take place. I thought it was gonna take place like somewhere in Rebels or something, or after the whole war. But apparently, it was like taking place like right smack in between General Grievous versus Obi-Wan to like the start of like Order 66. And that was like a sad opening. I'm like, damn, gotta remind us Order 66 when the stormtroopers turning against the Jedi. And I do remember how Clone Wars. I haven't seen all Clone Wars, I saw like some episodes, and how they touched upon that chip that was like within the clones, making sure that when Order 66 comes around, nothing is gonna like hinder them because they've been like working alongside the Jedi. They probably like grew bonds, with war. I'm not sure. I forgot how long was the Clone Wars. I know it was like ages, even though like it was like what 2 or 3 years. Like Clone
Oh,
Wars happened and then Episode 3 happened. So I'm like, how long has this been? I know it's been a while because like Anakin grew some hair and he got like a scar on his eye. But yeah, it's been freaking ages. And then just seeing that happen, I'm just like, damn, it was sad. And then that kid, like someone told me after watching that episode, like that's the same guy in Rebels. I'm like, what?
absolutely. That's Keenan. That's Caleb. He was Caleb back then. He's Keenan now. Keenan Dune. Absolutely. Bringing it in. He's the one who taught little Ezra. But yeah, they're bringing it in. I'm absolutely loving it. And I mean, at first you're like, do I even really need a Bad Batch? Like, do we need this offshoot? And 100%, yes, we absolutely needed this offshoot. I'm loving it so
Disney
far.
Plus keep doing that. They keep on giving us series that we're like, we didn't want this, but hell, we needed it after that first view.
We don't even know what we need, but they're letting us know each and every month. They're just bringing out something extra. We got to love it. But yeah, it's definitely keeping me going and filling that void of the little dead space between all the new series coming out. So yeah, I'm all in on the Bad Batch. So what do you think about this little Omega girl? People think she's force sensitive. People think like they don't know what to think about her. What do you think's up with this girl?
Those aminos don't clone people for no reason. I gotta know what on earth is this damn reason. Then, like as you see within the first 3 episodes, they're trying to get rid of these clones. Like Talking wants to, end with the clones, do it with regular humans, and I'm seeing why in a sense. But when it comes to the Bad Batch, he was like excited seeing them. But then when it came to inhibitor chip and they don't like following rules, he's like, I don't know. And then Crosshair kind of like snitched on them, putting a report that not all those Jedi's were killed on that planet. One got away. I'm like, really, man?
Yeah,
You're like,
there ain't no kind of snitched. He flat out snitched on him. He sold our crew out. Like, what was up with that?
oh my gosh. And then when it came to Saw Gerrera and his people, which we saw Saw Gerrera from freaking what's that movie? Rogue One, which I've only seen Rogue One time. I wasn't a huge fan of Rogue One. People keep crucifying me every time I say that. Like, how could you like, Phantom Menace, but not like Rogue One?
Oh man, I know my man Jake Cruz tell you Rogue One's the best one in the whole series.
Like, I gotta rewatch it. Again, I only saw it one time. And honestly, when I was watching, I was kind of like half asleep because I came off a working night shift from Toys R Us, and I was like, okay, let me just go watch, Rogue One. So maybe I gotta rewatch it with a brand new set of eyes, and I appreciate it more. But yeah, Saul Guerrero's there. And I'm like trying to like hear the voice actor. I'm like, has to be a different voice actor from the actual actor because he did not sound close enough. Or was it just me?
I don't think it's Forrest Whitaker doing the voiceover. It could be, but I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, it's not too far off, so it actually
Mhm.
could be. But yeah, I have to look into that. I'm not sure if it's him doing it or not. But man, I love it. Like I said, like I've been saying the last couple of episodes, I never knew why I cared. Why should I care about Saul Guerrera? Like I saw him in there, and I'm like, why do I care about this character? It's almost like they just fit Forrest Whitaker in so he could be in the movie. But now that I'm going back and seeing the lore and they're filling in the gaps, and I saw him in Clone Wars and how he got started. Hey, what's up, Alicia Kingston? I see you out there. And then we saw him again in Rebels, and then we got another one in Rebels, and then we saw him, how he's grown up now, and like seeing his progression and what he's doing and why he's the way he is. Like these little tunes are filling in all those backstories. I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, I gotta see more of it because, like, just like you, just like right now. What was the point of Saul Guerrero? So maybe
Exactly.
I gotta go watch Rebels.
But no, yeah, you see it. Like you see how he started, how the Jedi went to his planet and like went to train them all up, and then his sister died fighting in the war, and then like we're about to talk about in this episode, what happened to him, and you see why he's so ruthless and why he's the way he is. And not everybody agrees with his tactics, but he's like, what some people don't want to admit is this is war, and in war, people die. Like he's just taking the real of it and just going with it. So he
Yeah.
gets his, man. He's ruthless. The more I hear about him, the more I love that character. And like I said, when I first saw him in Rogue One, I was like, who is this guy and why do I care?
And within this 3 episodes, they keep mentioning that the war is over, but people keep on saying back and forth like it doesn't feel like the war is over, like it never stopped.
Exactly. And now it's just the Empire taking over completely.
Yeah, and you pretty much were like seeing those gradual changes, how they were just tracking people within episode 2. They mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, damn, you can't even take a piss without the Emperor knowing.
Right? Exactly. And I was like, at first, I was like, I'd be like Han Solo. I'd be a pirate, not be doing it. But then, Peter Griffin reminded me, he's like, we already kind of have that with Social Security cards. But it seems like the chain codes are more than that, like more than Social Security numbers. Like it seems like they track you everywhere you go, and you need it to move pretty much anywhere. So I think it's a little bit more than just having a social number.
So you're saying is Invincible taught us not to drink tap water, and this show is telling us that Social Security number is really tracking us. Oh my gosh, it's so
It'll open
funny.
your eyes. That's what these shows do. They open your eyes to the truth. You got to put it in your own life, make it fit. I like Forrest and Rogue One is my favorite movie since the original trilogy. Yep. See, there you go. And it was, like I said, I didn't know why I cared about that character. Now I'd rewatch and be like, my man, Saul Guerrera, there he is. So yeah, that's a whole new thing now for sure. So what's up with Little Omega? What do you think her story is?
Oh yeah, you asked that question. I would think that's a real.
Well, we got started, but we'll get off track. It's what we do.
But yeah, I won't be surprised if he's force sensitive because the way how she is, I'm like, okay, you're kind of like Finn and Force Awakens here. Hopefully, don't drop the ball with her because there's certain point in time where even like with the episode 3, the one when Hunter went down, she just picked up the gun and was like, okay, I'm gonna go.
The more I think about it, the more I think Little Omega might be the way they're going to try to explain Rey. Like, how was Rey able to just pick up a lightsaber and be badass right out of the gate? Like, that makes no sense. She had no training. Like, how is she so good right away? And we're seeing with little Omega, whatever she is, she's got something going on to where she just, I think that's her power. I don't think she's force sensitive. I don't think she has the midichlorians. I don't think that's a possible thing to clone. What I do think is she's the new set of clone that little girl made up, and she's the new and improved type, and almost like Neo style. All she has to do is touch something, and it like
Yeah.
instantly inputs, and she knows how to use it. That's how she was able to pick up Crosshair's gun and fire it. That's how she was able to like just look at the mask and touch it, and then she knew how it worked, and that's how she was able to save Hunter later on in this episode. So I think she's like the new and improved clone, and whatever it is that's making her be able to just look and touch at something, that's kind of what got passed on to Rey and how Rey's able to do things. I think they might try to tie all that in.
If so, let her touch every single Bad Batch, and she just be the ultimate stormtrooper at this rate. Don't not do it.
Who would be the ultimate stormtrooper?
Omega, and she pretty much just like studies all their enhancements for
Yeah,
the game.
absolutely. And I mean, can clones have kids? Is that how? I mean, old boy's got a family. Like, are those
Aren't
his
they
real
no,
kids?
they're adopted. They're adopted.
Those are his adopted kids.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if clones could have kids, honestly.
That's what I'm wondering. Because old boy is like, are any of those kids his? Because that's like.
Maybe the pink one is, but then when I saw the blue one, I'm like, hold up. Mom ain't blue. He
Right?
ain't definitely
Wait a
blue.
minute, something happening somewhere, but we don't need to touch on that. We'll keep it moving. But yeah, I don't know. So it's like, is she, if this little thing, like if little Omega can grow up, but how's a clone grow up? But old Jango Fett grew up, so they do grow up. So if she grows up and basically can have a kid and she's the one that has Rey, that would explain. I mean, I just think they're going to tie that in somehow. And that's how Rey was able to just pick up the lightsaber and be just Jedi awesome right out of the gate.
Unless when they created the Jango Fett clones, like they made sure like they don't reproduce because they're mainly just like bred for war.
Right. But I mean, that doesn't mean like we've already seen, a couple breakoffs. So, I mean, that could happen. Or maybe just, I don't know if they can reproduce or not. Like, that's just a weird thing. I don't even know if they've touched on that. Iron just says clones are the new eunuchs of Daenerys. That makes sense. That's how you tie it all in. But what do you think of like Crosshair? Like, everybody's blaming everything what he's doing on the his inhibitor chip being messed up, and Omega says everything's not his fault. But basically, his inhibitor chip, all it did was give Order 66. Like, now I know they've juiced it up to make it even more make him more compliable, make him comply easier. But I don't know. It seems like even after all this stuff, like Order 66 might have been given to him, but being a snitch wasn't given to him, and he did that no problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had no problem giving, like, this crew is supposed to be family, and he had no problem giving them up. Like, no, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't kill that Jedi. Like, maybe he was supposed to kill a Jedi and can't stop himself from doing that, but he could have stopped himself from being a little bitch snitch, right?
Like I need to see like more like old missions and stuff when it comes to Crosshair, because it seems like granted it's like it was like on a low setting with his inhibitor chip not functioning well, because it's like he knows he's supposed to follow orders, but you end up just like not following through. As opposed to now that they enhanced that up, he's able to pretty much follow direct orders now without a second thing. Just like when it came to the clones. Without a
Right.
second thought, the clones were just like, oh, that's our order. We're following through easily. But it seems like as long as he like spent time with the Bad Batch, it's like, I'm supposed to follow the rules, but they're kind of my boys. But when Order 66 came around, he was gun ho trying to go kill that Jedi.
I'm
And then he
telling
was
you,
like reporting it back. So it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I think that's just kind of in him. Like, everybody has their little things. I think he's got some snitch bitch in him. Like, that's just part of his DNA and his
that's its
makeup.
enhancement.
That's part of his code, his makeup. Because I can't. I mean, this is supposed to be your fam, and you're just gonna rat him out like that. That ain't cool. So yeah, I think everybody's like, oh, it's not his fault, and then inhibitor chip's messed up. But I think it's a little deeper than that with Crosshair. I think he's got some bitch in him. But we shall see. I think as time goes on. But then we come up to this one, and this is Bad Batch episode 3 called The Replacements, and we have all sorts of stuff getting replaced in this one. We, for the time being, have Omega taking the place of Crossfire. We have like the power capacitors that need replacing. They're trying to replace basically clones with human soldiers. Like they're trying to replace the travesty that was the prequels with these new offshoot series. Like everything's getting replaced so far, and that was a pretty perfect theme for what this episode was, don't you think?
Exactly. Even the aminos are trying to like, okay, we need a replacement so we can stay in business because we don't want to be on the streets.
Exactly. It's like we want to eat. We're going to have to do something. We got to keep it going up bigger and better, keep it moving. And we open with our crew crushing through space, and Hunter's noticing that Omega doesn't look too comfortable all curled up on the Gonk droid, but basically she has no complaints. She's happy to be there. And he says chow time, and Wrecker inhales his and then asks for more, but Hunter says no can do, supplies are low, and we're on rations, which that kind of comes into play here in a minute. And to make things worse, the power capacitor goes out, so they drop out of hyperspace and end up crashing on this foreign planet. And during the crash, Wrecker hits his head, and it seems to bother him the whole episode. Like, is that pretty much what happened? You think he whacked his inhibitor chip?
Exactly. And at any point in time, he's going to activate and he might end up killing his brothers or so. But on a side note, do you think that they're going to even survive by the end of this season? The
No.
Bad Batch? Or you think they're
That's
all
what I
going to
said in
die
my
too?
very first episode. I think they're all dead. And in the second episode, I said it was Omega who's going to be the death of them.
Dang, you think the kid's going to be the death of them?
Yeah, I think Omega's gonna, because like old girl said, she's like it's their job to get into trouble, and it's our job to save them. So basically, I think she just told us how this is gonna finish. She's gonna get in trouble, and the Bad Batch is gonna go on a suicide mission and die saving her because that's their job to save her. I think she told us exactly how it was gonna end last episode.
Dang, Omega. I don't like her.
And speaking of faulty inhibitor chips, the crew misses Crosshair. And why did Omega think that the power capacitor would be in Crosshair's weapons kit? Like, of all the things to grab, why did she grab that box?
I think she just did that just to have them in Crosshair's mind and just see, okay, are you going to try to go after your boy, or are you just like done with them? I think she just tried to instigate it just to see like where they sat, because it seems like within, I believe it was either this episode or the previous one, where she was like, you really shouldn't blame him as much because it's just the inhibitor chip.
That makes sense. Absolutely. So back on Kaminoan, and Crossfire is passing his physical with flying colors, and Governor Tarkin wants to make sure that it's going to stay that way and enter the mastermind of the chain codes. Rampart walks in, and he's not done trying to impress this empire. Like, he believes clones are the thing of the past, and he thinks human soldiers that enlist will be a better way forward. He's starting a whole new program of elite enlisted to be trained by one of the enhanced clones. So this guy's just like evil without even realizing how evil he is, isn't he?
You gotta love him for that, honestly.
I mean, he's just trying to do what he does and do it well. But my God, like he's like what helped the Empire become the Empire. It's terrible.
You could tell like he's not a fan of Ultramites. If he watched Invincible, because there's nothing but brainwashed people. He's like, no, we don't need that in our lives.
Like we're gonna go another way. He's gonna be the mad scientist with those robots, making soldiers that comply. Good soldiers follow orders. So Tech and Echo are outside the ship replacing the capacitor when Echo hears something, and he then finds huge claw marks indented into the ship. And are the Bad Batch vegetarians? Like, were they not just saying that they're low on rations? So why aren't they out there hunting this energy stealing dragon for dinner?
They're not savages, DJ. They need a McDonald's around the corner.
Like, dude, you tell me that we're hungry and rations are low. I ain't out there like just trying to, dude. I'm out there hunting. Like, what dragon? We're having fried dragon for dinner. That's what I'm talking about. Like, we ain't going hungry no more. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, are these guys vegan or what?
So you tell them if we were able to travel to different planets and you're starving, you're gonna eat a random alien?
Hell yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go. Cook it up. Cook it up. Get that fire started. But back inside the ship, Rickard's head hurts, and he tells us he hit it during the crash, and of course it just so happens to be right in the area of the inhibitor chip. So, like everybody thinks, like it's definitely going to be, going to mess with them one way or the other. Are the Bad Batch going to like start falling out one by one? Like first Crosshair, now Wrecker seems to be having headaches. Like, were the Bad Batch inhibitor chips just faulty and therefore just taking longer for like Order 66 to take hold? and like one by one, it's going to kick in on them.
That would be interesting. Like if that's like one of like the orders that's in the inhibitor chip that's like the strongest, then maybe that could be it. But once they were initiating Order 66, like the Bad Batch, not a single one of them like knew what it was or even like reacted to it like at all. So I don't know.
We got no concussion protocols. What's going on? Like exactly. We need to have my man Wrecker laying down, but he had things to do this episode. Yeah, Iron Tron says we need a space McDonald's. Since he ain't trying to kill no dragons, he needs a space McDonald's. Fried dragon with a manicore and glazed sauce paired with all cold Dornish red. See, AK knows what I'm talking
No,
about.
not
We gonna
you
eat.
too. Not you too.
We ain't going hungry. We gonna eat. That's what I'm talking about. We ain't about to starve in space. We're gonna make it happen. Oh, the right spices make any meat good. See, my people know what's up. They know what's happening. It's like ain't none of us going hungry. We're about to eat.
I would gladly starve in the corner.
He says, I'm going hungry. I ain't eating no dragon. Oh, I'm having toasted barbecue dragon all night. But either way, these record headaches are definitely going to be a thing. So we know that's something we're going to have to watch out for. We also see Omega figuring out the breathing face mask, like I was saying earlier. Like all she has to do is touch something and can instantly figure it out, like how to shoot perfectly minutes after picking up the blaster. Like I think that's just the new and improved clone. Is basically she just touches something and it's Neo. She instantly knows how to use it perfectly, which is, I mean, that's what you'd want out of a clone, pretty much. Something that learns faster and adapts faster. So the Auto Moon Dragon steals the capacitor, and Hunter says he'll go get it. And Omega says she wants to come as well. And at first, Hunter's like, no, but she reminds him that she's part of the team now. And he wasn't really ready for that, but can't deny it. So allows her to come and tells Records, whose headaches seem to be getting worse, to just stay on the ship. And back on Kamino, we hear that the human side of the new recruits, one of them says, with the Empire, I get paid, I get fed, and I have a roof over my head. And it's like, which is more than the Republic ever did for him. Like, that's pretty telling and actually makes sense on why so many of them would actually join the dark side, right?
Exactly. They got all that stuff in a cookie. I would probably join too, but like, what was the benefits on the Republic though? Like, no money wasn't good, health benefits wasn't good, house, home, nothing. Like, I don't know.
Jedi's wasn't giving up nothing.
It's like the rebels. I hope they had some better benefits at this rate.
I don't need an Oculus to feel like a Jedi. I wake up feeling like a Jedi. Feel it. Oh, Iron says with the right spices, even Funkos taste good. Don't let BBM see this. Oh, it's like you ain't eating my Funkos.
Goddamn right. Even if some has scented Funkos, but still no.
He's like, I got my Force sensitive Funkos. The Tarkin likes what he's hearing, but still wants a tangible test to see if the troops in action, and he's sending them to Alderaan to see if this new squad can succeed where Troop 99 failed. Basically, he wants Saul Guerrero dead. And while Hunter and Omega track the dragon, Omega asks if she'll be able to learn to track as good as Hunter does, and he says it's an enhanced skill that he, Tech, and Wrecker each have. She reminds him Crosshair too, and then says Hunter shouldn't be mad at him. He can't help it. Like I said, I think her enhanced skill is going to be that easily picking up all the others' enhanced skills and like being good at all of them. Like she's going to be Ninja Jedi when it's all over, but she won't have like the Jedi Force, I don't think.
And she's like the fifth one, right? So it's like, what's her defective?
What's her defective?
Yeah. Compared to like, because didn't they say that she's like one of them defective clones? So
Oh yeah, like her inhibitor chip that didn't work, or she was able to stop it or not want to kill Jedi's, basically.
that's what you think it is?
I'm not sure. I don't even know. Like maybe did she? I don't even think she would have an inhibitor chip in. I think she would be after all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
She's like, I wonder what makes her defective, quote unquote.
right.
Because she seems to be good at what she's doing.
At just about everything. Or is she just going to be able to turn and just go crazy on the drop of a dime? Time will tell. But on the way to Alderaan, we hear one of the new recruits isn't too happy taking orders from a clone, and he says it won't last long. A change is coming. And the new batch attacked the small base camp that we'll soon find out isn't exactly filled with soldiers. And man, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but one of the most ruthless scenes that Disney's ever put its name to. Like, oh my God. We're back with our Bad Batch. Hunter tracks down the dragon, which pounces on him, knocking off his mask. And lucky thing he let Omega come talk him into coming with her, because basically since she's already touched a mask and knows how to use it, how it works, she's able to put it back on Hunter, turn it on, and basically save his life before he suffocates.
Telling you, and you would think that she's gonna be the one to kill him, kill all of them, man. Nope.
In the end of it, she's absolutely going to be the death of the Bad Batch. I'm 100% on that. But she called for backup. How come nobody from the crew came to help? Nobody responded. What was up with that?
That is a good. I was gonna ask you that. Like, that's a bit weird. I don't know if they're trying to be like convenient with it or what.
Yeah, she calls for backup. Nobody's got her back. That kind of blew me away. I was like, that made no sense to me. It's like, how's nobody getting out there to help? You're too busy like making up new rooms and shit. Like, get your ass out there and save somebody. But luckily, she knew what she was doing because she touched it and knew how to turn it on and get him breathing again, and literally saved his life. So that was pretty amazing. But we then see just how brave and fearless little Omega is as she grabs Hunter's blaster and flashlight to track down the beast herself. And she's a lot braver than I am, because I would not be jumping down that hole in the ground solo like that. Like, what? She is nuts. Would you do that?
I mean, you would do it if you want to get some, like, dragon meat, DJ. So
You don't know how many other dragons are down there. Like, you might get down there and get stuck. Like, I'll be out there hunting, like, out in the open, but I'm not going into his, like, little hut where I can't even hardly move. You don't know how small it is down there. Like, this little girl is brave. I will give her that.
Mm-hmm.
But back on Alderaan, the new batch makes short work of the so-called rebel crew, and they kill the soldiers, then question the civilians, and when they can't help, they get killed too. Like, one of the human recruits tries to stop Crosshair from murdering the civilians, but he just gets got too. I was like, oh my God. Like, Crosshair says good soldiers follow orders and tell his squad to kill the rest of the civilians. And, like, is this his new and improved inhibitor chip making him do this? Or is he really just an evil bastard? Because it almost seems like he's a little too easy doing this stuff. And like I said, this is about the darkest scene Disney has ever let me shown on anything with his name attached. Like, my jaw hit the floor.
The second thing, because Anakin still killing those younglings is still dark as fuck.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Then again, I'm not sure if Disney even like had rights to Star Wars yet.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they bought it by then, and they'll probably retcon that out and like not ever show it on the real on their play. But yeah, when Crosshair said finish the mission and walks away, and we just hear the blasters firing and the flamethrower firing back up, like literally my jaw hit the floor. I was like,
I think it was a bit of both. Like killing civilians and stuff was like kind of like following orders. For Tarkin even told him like, "Yo, just kill everyone else." Couldn't even get any information or whatever. But him killing that recruit, I think that was a bit of him, because the moment that recruit opened his mouth saying, "Oh, they recruiting us," that means like you clones are nothing, trying to get rid of you guys, they're replacements. And then he's like, "Oh, you're pretty much our leader now, but that's gonna change soon." So he was just waiting for a right opportune moment. He's like, "What? You try to help them out, try to stop me? You're done."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you want to talk smack to me? You about to get yours," and he got it. AK said she's been telling people for years Disney is dark as fuck. Oh, Iron says they all want a red wedding in their shows, right? They all want them ratings, but my God, how far are you willing to go? Like, this is Disney for sakes. Like, that was dark as shit. That was crazy. But back to Dragon's Lair, we see Mega's from the capacitor, but also the dragon. And she panics at first, but soon sees the dragon really isn't all that vicious, just hungry. So she uses her big clone brain to switch up the flashlight for the capacitor and saves the day. And a worried Hunter is yelling out for her as she returns unharmed. And he asks, what was she thinking? And she says the mission was to retrieve the capacitor. So I tracked down the dragon like you did. Again, I'm telling you that her enhancement is being able to learn all the other clones' powers like instantly and make them her own. She even showed him that she was able to do this without firing the blaster. Like, what kind of little ninja clone is she already?
The ultimate one at this rate. Tarkin better not notice.
I'm telling you, like, seems like she just picked up his hunting skills and the bravery. Like I said, to just jump on that hole by herself and just get it, like, just fearless. Oh my God. I don't know if Baby Yoda would have done that. But the new recruits returned, a man short, and the Empire just like showed how little they cared. And Crosshair had said Saul Guerrero was gone, but the rest of his camp was dealt with, just as soulless as you could ever be. And I was like, my God. And Tarkin is impressed. He raises Rampart to admiral and puts him in charge of this new initiative of basically training human volunteer soldiers. And the Kaminoans know that if this happens sooner or later, basically their clones will become obsolete. So what do you think? Well, I mean, what's their plan? What's this like new and improved thing they're working on?
Whatever Omega is, produce it.
You think that's what it is? Because we
Yep.
also hear that the original genetic material from Jango Fett is starting to degrade. Like they've already, they're ready to begin the next phase, and it's time to see if Tuan Wee's experiment really yielded a superior clone. So is that the superior clone they're talking about? Is Omega?
Yeah, because it seems like since episode one, that other Omino, she pretty much tried to make sure that something was override so they could escape. But for me, it's like I don't think it's just a bad batch you want to escape. It was mainly Omega. And every so often when they bring her up, you keep on seeing the camera pans. I'm just like, whoever it is, it's Omega.
Yes, I think she definitely wanted to keep Omega away from Tarkin. She didn't want Tarkin seeing what that was all about. Because the Kaminoans need this new and improved clone to work out. Like their survival in the Empire depends on it. And Tuan Wee says the recruits needed to make more won't return willingly. Like, is she talking about the Bad Batch, or is there like another pack of Omegas out there somewhere?
It also could be that it's either Omega or a Bad Batch. Because even if I was Tarkin, I was like, you know what? If anything, just like clone the Bad Batch, or since you have Crosshair, who seems to be very good during that one mission, just keep having clones of Crosshair.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just amp up their chips and make them do what you want to do, it seems like that's the ultimate soldier you could have.
Because even if they try to clone a Jedi, from I remember, well, it was like in a video game where they mentioned like it's very difficult to clone a Jedi, and it was like only like kind of one success for it, but it's like after that, it's like no.
Oh wow, they actually did that in a video game, huh?
Hmm.
That's pretty sweet. But Crosshair and the new Bad Batch retreat to their room, and it's the same room that the Bad Batch used to use. And it seems like Crosshair is actually kind of missing his old team. Or was that look one of like, yeah, I'm going to have to kill them too eventually?
Ever since the first episode, I'm like, will he kill them, or then he has a change of heart, then like saves them or something?
Well, it seems like old boy Tech's working on that new inhibitor chip scan to see if your thing's messed up. So is that thing that he's working? Will that be able to like turn off the inhibitor chip or switch it back? Like, is that the thing that's going to maybe be able to save Crosshair?
Well, here's the thing, though. Even if they switch it off, it's like, well, what show us his true nature? Maybe he's always like this. That's my worry.
Right? That's my point. It's like, what if they do get on there, they switch it back, they switch it and tone it down, and we find out that nothing changes with him. Like this is just him. Like I said, he's just always had a little snitch bitch in him, and he's basically ready to turn on him. Like he could keep following orders in this pack, or he could be the new crew leader in whatever pack he's doing for the Empire. And I think he wants to be the crew leader. I think he's done taking orders. Oh man, what do you think? You think that's pretty much how it's going to be with him?
I'm gonna say, dang, I can't tell for now. I need a few more episodes in. I'm still on the fence, DJ.
You say I'm staying here where I'm comfortable. You ain't moving me yet. But the Bad Batch gets the capacitor reinstalled and are off and running, and we see Wrecker hasn't exactly just been sitting around twiddling his thumbs this whole episode. He's actually been busy making Omega her very own room with a view onto the ship, and she absolutely loves it, saying she's never had a room of her own before. So sounds like she's becoming more and more entrenched in this crew, and Hunter makes it official, saying that she's now part of the squad too, and have to admit, I'm a bit nervous with this much of a happy ending. Like the crew's going to be in for some serious trouble sooner than later. What do you think?
Of course, that's how it always is. You got to balance it out.
Make us feel like it's all warm and fuzzy, and then they're just going to drop the hammer next episode.
And if she is the cause of their death, when you're doing a rewatch, it's like, damn, they pretty much made the room for someone who caused their death.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm loving this. I'm loving this series so far. It's like I feel like this was a little bit of like a setup episode. Like they're just sitting there. They dropped a bunch of little Easter eggs that are going to pay off here in the next few episodes. So it seems like, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot going on, but we definitely see some things are about to happen.
Agree, because they even mentioned Rex in the previous episode. So I'm like, I guess within this season we may see Rex.
I think they showed a preview with Rex already on it, so I think that's already.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I haven't seen it, but I think I've heard that somebody said that there was. They already showed it on the preview, so Rex is going to be coming for sure. And yeah, they just mentioned him last episode, so you can't bring up Rex and not show him. He's literally the #1 clone. So yeah, it's going to be tight. So you're all in. You're liking this, and definitely ready to keep it moving.
Most definitely.
Nice. That's what it is. All in on the Bad Batch. So that's episode 3. I'm loving it so far. Like I said, I think little Omega is going to keep getting in trouble, and she's going to be the end of our crew. But until we get there, I think it's going to be a hell of a ride. And I need to see what's going on, like with this new and improved clone. And like I said, is there going to be is there a whole other batch of Omegas? Is Omega the only one, or is there a whole little crew of Omegas out there running around that old girl already snuck off the planet before Tarkin got there?
That would be a mortifying scene where she learns that she's not the only one. There's like a whole bunch of dead bodies of Omegas like all over her room or something.
Oh, that'd be gruesome. We messed up. Oh, Jay Cruz said, what happened? Uh-oh. What happened? Did we lose something? Oh, don't know. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Probably get back on here. And yeah, if we can get them back on here, we'll do the next one on Saturday. It'll be right after the show and see what we think and see what direction they're doing. You up for that?
Yep, because I'm not talking about Mortal Kombat.
There it is. So it looks like we'll be back here next Saturday. I hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic week, and it only gets better from here. Until we see you next time. Be easy, everybody.